Have you ever noticed how one sentence can ruin your entire day? A harsh comment, a raised voice, even silence when you expected a reply. We often say, "That person made me angry." But the truth is harder and more powerful. Anger only stays when we invite it. This is the story of a man who learned that lesson the hard way. In a hillside village surrounded by open fields lived a man named Samir. People knew him well, not for kindness, but for his temper. His anger appeared faster than rain in summer. If food was late, his voice rose. If animals crossed his land, he exploded. If neighbors laughed too loudly, he slammed doors. Samir believed the world was careless and disrespectful. Everyone else, he thought, was the problem. His wife, Nyla, often spoke softly to him. "Why do you let tiny things steal your peace?" she asked. Samir snapped back, "Because people should behave properly. If they don't respect me, why should I stay calm?" What he didn't realize was simple. Every time he reacted, he handed his peace to someone else. One season, a quiet traveler arrived in the village. He wore plain clothes and spoke very little. Each morning, he sat beneath an old tree near the well, watching the day begins. Watching the day begin, villagers whispered, "He doesn't talk much, but when he does, his words stay with you." Nyla urged Samir to meet him. Samir laughed it off until one afternoon, when a boy accidentally damaged one of Samir's tools. Samir shouted so fiercely that the child ran away in tears. That night, Samir sat alone, his chest tight, his mind restless. "Why does anger always leave me empty?" he wondered. Before sunrise, he walked toward the old tree. The traveler sat calmly, eyes closed, listening to the wind. Samir stood awkwardly before speaking. "I'm tired," he said. "People upset me, and I lose control." The traveler opened his eyes and gestured for him to sit. "Tell me," he asked, "when anger comes, how long does it stay?" "Sometimes hours, sometimes all day," Samir replied. "And when it leaves," Samir sighed, "I feel drained." The traveler nodded. Anger hurts the hand that holds it, not the target. He lifted a bowl of clear water. When the water is still, you can see your reflection. Shake it, and everything becomes unclear. "That is the mind," he said. "When disturbed, it cannot see truth." Samir asked, "So should I accept insults quietly?" The traveler smiled. "No, learn the art of choosing. Reacting is instinct, responding is wisdom." The next day, the traveler asked Samir to heat a pot of water. When it boiled, he asked, "Can you touch it?" "Impossible," Samir replied. "That's emotion at its peak," the traveler said. "You can't touch peace when feelings boil." He added sand to the water, turning it cloudy. This is what reaction does, confusion. Then he poured the water aside and waited. Slowly, the sand settled. "When you stop reacting," he said, "the mind settles too." Samir began practicing. When irritation rose, he paused, he breathed, he stepped back. It wasn't easy. Old habits fought hard. One day at the market, a trader tried to deceive him. Samir felt the familiar heat rising, but he stopped. "I'll shop elsewhere," he said calmly, and walked away. That night he slept peacefully for the first time in years. But growth always brings tests. One morning, some young men mocked him. "Look, the angry man thinks he's wise now." Samir felt the fire stir, but remembered the lesson. He smiled and replied, "Maybe I am learning something new." They didn't know how to respond. Later, someone asked, "How can you stay calm when people insult you?" Samir answered, "If someone offers you poison, you don't have to drink it." Weeks passed. Samir's home grew quieter. His voice softened. Even when things went wrong, he stayed steady. He returned to the old tree one morning and bowed. "I understand now," he said. "No one controlled my anger. I did." The traveler smiled. Life will always test you, but every calm moment strengthens you. Samir asked, "Will people ever stop testing me?" The traveler replied, "When storms see you no longer panic, they lose interest." Years later, Samir became known as the calmest man in the village. When others felt overwhelmed, they came to him. He always said, "Peace is not the absence of noise, it's the absence of reaction." One day, a child asked, "Don't people still try to anger you?" Samir smiled. "They try, but without my reaction, their power fades."